My friends, the Lord be with you. This is a proclamation from the Holy Gospel according to Luke.
Glory to you, Lord.
Some Sadducees, those who deny there is a resurrection, came forward and put this question to Jesus, saying, "Teacher, Moses wrote for us, if someone's brother dies leaving a wife but no child, his brother must take the wife and raise up descendants for his brother. Now there were 7 brothers. The first married a woman, but died childless. Then the second and the third married her, and likewise all the 7 died childless. Finally, the woman also died. Now at the resurrection, whose wife will that woman be? For all 7 had been married to her." Jesus said to them, "The children of this age marry and remarry. But those who are deemed worthy to attain to the coming age and to the resurrection of the body, neither marry nor are given in marriage. They can no longer die, for they are like angels, and they are the children of God, because they are the ones who will rise. That the dead will rise, even Moses made known in the passage about the bush, when he called out, 'Lord, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob.' And he is not God of the dead, but of the living, for to him all are alive." The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Well, it's that time of the year again. It's always on the second weekend in November that I give the annual state of the parish as far as it stands financially and spiritually. There is a copy of the financial statement in the bulletin if you've already picked one up. If not, would you please be sure to take a bulletin home with you so that you can see our statistics. Our fiscal year in the church, as in the whole Diocese of Buffalo, goes from September 1st till October 31st. This insert that you have gives you the fiscal period ending in 2012 compared to the fiscal year ending in 2013. One of the first things that you'll notice under Sunday and Holy Day obligations is that in 2012, our Sunday and Holy Day offerings were $612,000, and in this past year they were $601,000. So our offering last year was down about 2% from the previous year. That can partly be explained by people who move from the parish, people who have died, people who perhaps were blessed and fortunate and perhaps gave an additional amount of money one year because of a blessing that they received and didn't get one the following year, whatever. But all of that has something to say about the difference between the two amounts. The next line on the statement is special collections. I know recently someone was saying, boy, it seems like we have an awful lot of second collections lately. And I'll agree with you that we have a lot of second collections, but these are collections that we must take up because they are given to us by the diocese. And we're not an independent parish. We're not a free agent out there all by ourselves. We're connected to the Diocese of Buffalo. And so therefore, all of these special offerings need to be taken up. And what comes in immediately goes out, is sent to the diocese, and then for whatever special program they may have been taken up for. However, there are 3 second collections that only we take up in our parish. The first of these is we take up one every year for the Consolata Fathers. Now, they have been here working in our parish for more than 40 years. There are only 2 of them left in Williamsville. And so because of their generosity toward us, we always have a collection taken up every year to benefit the Consolata Fathers in the expenses that they have in keeping up their home. The second special offering that's taken up is from the Ladies of Charity. Now, everything that they collect is used for charitable purposes. Especially at Christmas time, there are 50 families from St. Luke's Mission of Mercy in the Central City that they provide clothing and games for the children. Also taking care of some 20 or so people from our own area, from our own community who are in need. So everything that they receive is used only for the sake of the poor. The third one is the most unique, I think, of all collections. I don't think there's anywhere that I know of in a diocese that does this, and that's the alms offering. And I'm very grateful to Monsignor Yanks for beginning this alms account, because when someone comes to you in need, you can't just sit down and take out the church checkbook and write out a check for $1,000 or whatever it might be, because that money is needed for the operating costs for the parish. But because there is a separate account, we are able to help people who are in need. Now, I know they say the recession is coming to an end, but if you don't have the money to pay for your mortgage on a particular month, or the money to pay for utility bills for you, that time has not changed. You're still very, very much caught up in the recession. And in the past years, I would say maybe through the year, maybe the $2,000 or something might have been given away to a couple different people who were in need. This past fiscal year, $18,000. Now, again, there would be no way that we could have helped these people if it wasn't for the alms account. So thank you for your generosity with that, because it makes it possible for us to take care of people who are really in need. Now, I just got done talking about second collections, and there is another one being instituted by the diocese. It's going to be taken up next week for the first time. It is a worthy cause. It's for the Archdiocese of the Military Services. Men and women who are Catholic and are in the armed services, there are chaplains who work at all the different bases. Now, the individual people receive their salaries, obviously, from the government. This has got nothing to do with salaries. But at these bases, they have churches, and it's a parish, and the priests that are there need to take care of those who are serving out of that base. And that's where they're looking for some help. The Archbishop, who is in charge of, if you will, the whole diocese, which is all of the military camps put together, it's called the Archdiocese for Military Services. He has asked the United States bishops if they would once every 3 years take up an offering. So it's our way of serving those who serve us. And next weekend will be the first time that will be taken up. On to some more things. Under expenditures, salary and payroll expenses have actually gone down. And that's because we have less people on staff. We have 3 now full-time people in the faith formation office, full-time secretary, and then Michael Rosalo, who is the director of the faith formation for the parish, and Sean Austin, the newest member of that office, who is the coordinator for high school and for the youth ministry. In the rectory, there are only 2 full-time people, and that's Mary Wilkowiak, who is our parish secretary, and yours truly. There are part-time people, our cook, who's in 3 days a week, the organist and pianist, and Priest Ketterer was our full-time bookkeeper, and when she retired in August, we have hired someone to come in 1 day a week who works for about 8 hours. So that's why you see a decrease in the payroll expenses. The two real biggies that are under the expenditures are the two assessments. The one is the diocesan assessment, and the other one is the school assessment. These are based on the income of the previous year. So our assessment to the diocese last fiscal year was $64,829. Our assessment for the schools was almost $113,000. It's a lot of money. It represents almost 30% of what the parish takes in for Sunday and Holy Day offerings. The one for the school, what happens is if a parish brings in more than $500,000 a year, which thanks be to God we do, then it was originally 19% right off the top goes for the schools. Then it was reduced to 18%. This year it's down to 17%. And you probably have heard there are some more Catholic schools that are going to be closing because they're small in number. And they're trying to combine them so that every Catholic school that remains open will have about 400 students in it. So they say that that rate will probably go down again next year, maybe to 16%. But that's what's really difficult. It all comes right off the top, 30%. Whether we have 100 children in Catholic grammar schools or no children in Catholic grammar schools, it makes no difference. It's 17% of the income, just so that everybody understands it. And that's why when any parent comes to me and says, I'm sending my child to whatever, St. Gregory's, St. Christopher's grammar school, I say, good. I sign the paper with them, say, I'm glad somebody's getting use of this money that is assessed to us every year. Under some other operating expenses, maintenance and repairs, that has actually gone down. We pay insurance, obviously, on our buildings and taxes. Now, we don't pay property taxes, but we have to pay water taxes and sewer tax. So that's what the taxes are. That's under operating expenses. The expenses that we are able to control ourselves here are down about $13,000. So costs that we can control, we have in control, and I'm grateful for that. We have money that's on loan and which we get paid interest. Now, it was a particularly good year last year, $115,000 in interest. We only can draw off the interest. I mean, that's what the Finance Council has decided. We draw only off the interest to pay some of our regular expenses. So at the end of the fiscal year, we were down. Well, in order to balance the books, we took some of the interest in order to make that even. Now, who knows how the stock market's going to go? As we all know, it's as fickle as the day is long. So one day it's good, the next day it's bad. But $115,000 was really good. Who knows if we'll have another year like that. There are certain investments that are dedicated to specific things, like I mentioned the alms. Another one is the scholarship fund. It was money that was given specifically for high school seniors. And last year, I think we awarded 4 high school seniors $1,000 each in the essay contest. That money comes from that particular account that was set up. And the money can only be used for that purpose. I can't take $1,000 out and pay the electric bill 1 month. It can only be for whatever it's been dedicated to. The same thing goes for, there's a seminary account. And it's for seminarians who are ordained transitional deacons, which means they'll be ordained priests in 6 months. We just had 2 men ordained, and so each of them received a check for $500. Again, that money comes specifically from that account and can only be used for that. Then on the bottom of the page, it shows what our assessments are for the current fiscal year. The regular assessment is $67,000, and the school assessment has dropped a little to $101,000. But again, nevertheless, it's obviously a big chunk of change. As far as the spiritual report goes, last year we had 20 baptisms, but we had 34 deaths. And we only had 4 marriages. So that's, a sign that we find in all the parishes. Throughout the diocese, I think throughout the country, marriages are definitely down. There's not many people getting married. And so the birth rate is also down as well. That's why we only had 20 baptisms last year. However, we do have a number of young people we had last year. In First Penance, there were 36 young people and 38 who made their first communion, and 43 who were confirmed. So those are certainly good numbers. Reminder that the spiritual programs that we have here are not only for the children. Michael Rosala is the director of faith formation for the entire parish. And that's why in Advent and in Lent, we have a retreat for families, because we want to serve all the family, not just the children. We all need to grow in our faith. So there are those opportunities. There are also adult opportunities for faith growing, for faith formation. There's one going on right now. They usually last about 5 weeks, and then there's a period where they're off, and then there's another topic that's chosen. Please take advantage of these adult formation sessions. It's to help you to grow spiritually. Also, this year we're having a parish mission. You may have already received an invitation in the mail from me. It's going to be December 8th through the 11th, 4 evenings from 7 to 8:30. Father John Brayton, who is a oblate of St. Francis of Sales, who travels around the country doing church missions, he will be here to do that mission for us. So, the time before Christmas is always crazy. We're running around doing so many things, but are we spiritually getting ourselves ready for Christmas? Most people say, Christmas Day, I'm glad it's over with. And we're just starting. And we're tired already. So please do something for yourself this year. Treat yourself and come as many nights as you can. One night we're going to have a penance service. One night we'll have Mass. Each night there's a different theme. Please come. You will not be disappointed. The bottom line, I'm not standing up here year after year begging for money. What I'm asking all of us to do is to be good stewards of what God has given us and to give back to God a portion of what God has given to you. No one can give the same amount. That's impossible. But we all can make a sacrifice. I'm not saying this because I want you to give me a crown to wear, but I make a sacrificial offering to the parish each month. I want you to know that because I believe that because I'm a part of this parish, it's up to me to also give back to God some of what I've received. So I'm asking everyone, please to do your part. Again, not equal gifts, but if everyone makes a sacrifice, we indeed will be able to continue to grow and to prosper and to build up God's kingdom here. Thank you very much for your patience, your kindness, and for the way in which you contribute to our parish community. God bless you.